The world of pageantry isn't a competition to take lightly. One only has a few hours to convince an entire panel of judges that they've got it all among a crowd of others. The certain it factor, which means the brains, the beauty, the charisma, and character deserving of a shiny crown and sash. Well, here with me today is someone who knows a little bit about this. Krystal Rash is a pageant queen who hails right here from our town of Palmer. And thank you so much for being with me today.
You're welcome very much.
So tell me a little bit about your pageant. Why is your story a little bit different than a typical pageant girl's?
Well, because I'm transgender and because I had to go through a lot to get there.
What is your title?
Miss Trans New England 2013.
And when was this competition?
September last year.
What are some previous titles that you've won?
Well, before I did the changeover, I won for Mr. Massachusetts, and that was in the Register paper quite a few years ago. And when I was a model, and I won for Most Photogenic, and then when I was in Miss Trans New England pageant, I won for Most Photogenic. And actually, I won some trophies in that for singing talent.
So you have quite the background in modeling, pageantry.
Yes.
And what do you like so much about competing?
It's fun. You get out there, you learn more, you meet more people, and you learn from each other's mistakes and good things and become friends.
Talk about the struggle for a transgender competitor. Is it harder to find the confidence to get out there and strut your stuff?
Yes, because when I first got into it the first year, it was different, because before that, I was a male before that, and I was modeling and, you know, had the mustache and all that stuff. But when I started going to pageants after I met the leader of the pageant, and she told me, it's like, hey, come into our pageant. And I was like, I don't know, I'm a little nervous. I've never done this before. I don't know how people are going to think about me and everything. And she told me, she said, don't be nervous, there's other people like you in there. And so I did it, and I had a blast. And not only did I meet a lot of other transgender people going through the same thing I'm going through, I met a lot of drag queens that became good friends with too.
And through pageants, you said you have the opportunity to travel and speak. Talk about the time that you went to Palmer High School.
I just recently, last week, went to Palmer High School on Thursday, and I was so impressed. I got there, and the kids all showed me around and everything, and then we went upstairs. There's a lot of kids that are going through the transgender thing too, and it's hard when you're a kid to speak to people out there, and they need somebody that's been through it. And I felt good going there and speaking to them, and not only to the kids, but the principal was there and the teachers were there, and they also learned a lot too that day. And I plan to do more. I'd like to go around the world doing this for transgender kids, because it's so hard for people to understand what it's all about. There will be people that are closed-minded, and there's people that's open-minded. And in this world, it can be dangerous, because in some countries there's still places where you can't even say anything because they murder you and other things. And
you know, what are some of the fears of these students? You know, what were some of the questions they asked you?
Where they can go to get help, how long it takes for the transgender, the reassignment surgery and all the other stuff. I told them it takes a long time, But at the same thing, I told them that you have to make sure what you're going to do, because once you go and do that, there's no turning back. But I said, you have to be happy with yourself, not other people, but for yourself, because you're the one at the end that's going to have to live that way. So.
And you mentioned, you know, you find happiness through your day-to-day life through music, which is really great.
Yes, yes. And whenever I'm up on stage, I love it. It's like, I don't know, I've always wanted to be a singer, and I still want to start up a band and get out there again.
It's important to you to be an advocate now for other people.
Yes, because the more you speak out there and the more people listen, the better it'll be. And we all have to stick together, and that's just how I told the kids. I said in Palmer High School, I said, when everything ever goes down or anything, always talk to each other. Don't be afraid. And I said, my door is always open.
And you said you knew from an early age that, you know, something was different about you.
Yes.
But it was hard for you to, you know, come out with it.
Yes, because the foster parents that I had, I was very scared, because they were the kind of people that would make me sleep on cold floors and throw me in cold showers, and sew in my pockets where I couldn't put my hands in my pockets in the middle of winter. And I knew if I said anything, I would get a bad licking. And for many years, I never said anything. They sent me to a private school, Deborah School, and at 10 years old, I knew that I was different from a lot of the other kids, and a lot of people didn't want to bother with me at that time. And I lost a lot of friends because of being transgender, because some of them understood and some didn't understand. And it's not what's on the outside, it's what's in the inside. I mean, I'm still the same person I'll always be.
And, you know, kind of light at the end of the tunnel, you met some girls that, you know, helped you come out of it, right?
Yes, yes. I had a friend for many years. We were best friends, and we just parted our ways just recently because she said the crown. She told me that she thought the crown was more important than her friendship, and I said, no. I said, I do this for my people because it said you need somebody to speak up, and the crown is just not something you place on your head. It represents our people and what it stands for. And so I lost the friend that I thought was a friend for many years.
Go into like what songs you chose and who you kind of like to, who your role model is.
Oh boy, Elvis. I sang a lot in the different pageants, like one year when I won Miss Photogenic, I did Suspicious Mind, and then there was another year when I did Stars of Tomorrow, I was The Wonder of You. And this year I plan on doing In My Clothes and Of the Crown, and that Roar by Katy Perry.
You also have to go through a interview portion and bikini portion. Talk a little bit about that.
Oh boy. The interview can be the hardest because they ask you different questions and that. And I guess you got to think before you speak, because they ask you different things. What is a transgender person? And what are you going to do if you win the crown? What are your plans and all that?
If someone was on the fence about competing, you know, what would you say to them to try to get them involved?
I would tell them, go ahead, because if you really want to be in a pageant, it would help you out with a lot of other different things. Confidence, going out there, because sometimes I know I was a shy person when I first got out, and like I say, I didn't know where to turn and everything, but when I started getting the pageants, it helped me get out there and have confidence, and I wasn't so shy. And I would tell the other people that are competing that if you want something bad enough, then go for it.
You know, what do you do on a day where you roll out of bed and you're just not feeling glamorous, and how do you find that confidence again?
You just put on happy music and you start dancing way to the top and you start singing.
Very good.
Yeah.
What are your dreams for the future? Do you plan to keep competing?
I've been thinking about it because I know once you hit the top in Miss Trans New England, then there's one more coming up, but where all the people over the years that won, they're all competing, and that's supposed to be down in the, was it Ocean Beach? And so I was planning on doing that, and then actually I want to get back into music, but at the same time, I found my part where I'd like to go around the world helping transgender kids and helping people understand what transgender is, and you don't have to be scared of it.
Very good. Well, thank you so much for being here. Again, Krystal Rash, beautiful beauty queen, and I'm sure your story inspires many others. Thank you so much.
Thank you.